Jesse here from The Movement Athlete, and today we'll be talking leg raises. We've got 11 different progressions for you, and we'll show you how you can obtain the leg raise starting from the V-up and end up all the way to something actually a little bit harder than a leg raise hanging on the bar. Our app has more of the micro progressions, but here we'll show you a little bit more of the zoomed out approach, starting with a few prerequisites. We'll show you how to address a little bit of skill work, endurance work, and muscle work along the way. So 11 different progressions, and this will help you achieve the leg raise that is strict, and if you achieve this, it'll be even easier to do the ones with a little bit of the kipping or momentum type of style. The first two progressions we have for you on the leg raises will be considered prerequisites, but we're adding them here today for the progressions of the leg raise. So the first one will be V-ups on the ground. So starting from the extended position or the hollow position, we will close the body up into the V shape and repeat for the reps. Okay, we can start from straight body on the floor as if we're hanging on the bar, pressing the body by lifting the torso at the same time as we are the legs. The idea and the goal here is to get as compressed as possible. The second progression is also a prerequisite. It will be the V-up hold. So we'll start either on the floor or in hollow position. Do the V-up and freeze at the top, trying to pull your legs to your chest and your chest to your legs. Working on this active compression. So as I mentioned, you can start laying completely flat on the floor or in the hollow position in between the V-ups. This progression is also working on active flexibility because we are using our internal forces, our muscles, to make sure we can get into this position rather than some kind of external force like gravity or someone pushing on us to compress into this position. The third progression will be the supine leg raise on the floor, which is addressing skill work because we are working on the movement pathway. So now, after accomplishing the V-ups and holding them, we will now act and do the full leg raise but laying sideways on the floor. And this is good for a few reasons because we're going to be training the whole range of motion. We also can't throw our head back because the floor is in the way and gravity assists us towards the end of this. So to perform this, start in a straight body position, engage the core before lifting the legs, and then lift all the way to tap the bar, and then lower back to the ground again. And here you'll see if you have any kind of weaknesses, like if you can make this pike position, if your legs cannot touch the bar, perhaps your hamstrings need more flexibility work, or your hip flexors need to gain more strength. The other interesting thing here is you can do our other progressions moving along on the floor too. You could do the leg lift to the L position, you could do the knee up work down here, or the single leg tuck, one leg straight leg raises in this position too. But this is addressing skill work because we're practicing the whole range of motion in an easier fashion. The fourth progression will be the hanging knee raise, and this is the first progression where we will be hanging on the bar itself. So we'll start this in the normal straight arm, straight body hang position, and we have varying levels of lift. So we'll first start off with lifting the knees in line with the hips to this tuck position, and then as you get better, you start to lift your knees further up towards the chest, trying to get the thigh as close to the chest as possible. Okay. Fifth progression is the hanging straight leg raise. And to do this, we'll start in the straight hang position, lift our legs to the horizontal L shape, and then return back to the bottom again. The sixth progression is the hanging L sit, and this will be an endurance piece. We will try to hold this for at least 10 seconds to show this kind of muscular endurance. So start from the straight arm hang position, lift to horizontal, legs are straight out in front and straight, and you're holding this for 10 seconds. The seventh progression are hip flexor lifts. A big contributor to doing leg raises well is having the hip mobility, the flexibility in the hamstrings, and the strength in the psoas. So we're going to address the skill work here by being on the ground, having our legs straight out in front of us, having our hands as far as possible, and being able to lift both legs off the floor without having the heels touch. So we're raising up and down. The farther away we are, the harder this is going to be with the hands, and we can start to move the hands closer to the hips to make this a little bit easier, and the range should be greater. And you want to make this challenging enough. So if you keep on training this in one way and don't move your hands, it doesn't progress as well in the hip compression side of things. So you want to keep addressing this and move the hands further and further to challenge yourself and gain that kind of requirement to do these well. Eighth up, we have the angled leg raises. So we originally started off in our third progression where we were laying horizontally on the floor. Later on, we will have the completely vertical version, and now we are laying somewhere in between. So our setup is at about a 45-degree angle, and this is variable. We have a bench laying on top of a elevated surface, and we've got the bar, and gravity will help us a little bit in this progression. So you're following all of the same cues and ranges of motion and technique for the leg raise to V. The ninth progression will be the leg lift with one leg tucked. So to do this, we'll start in the straight body position, bend one leg, which is just making that side shorter, and carry on with the normal leg lift action. It's also important to practice this on both sides. That way you're practicing each leg straight in this leg lift. The 10th progression is the hanging straight leg V-raise, and we'll start this in the straight body position on the bar, in a still position, head forwards, and get all the way to touch the bar, and a slow descend to make sure we're still, and then repeat the action for the subsequent reps. The 11th and final progression will be essentially a leg raise 1.5. We'll start in the straight body position, do the leg raise to V, lower to L, and then return back to V. So this one is more difficult because there's less momentum in the last portion of this. Thanks for watching our video on the leg raises. Hopefully you learned a lot about how you can achieve this if you don't already have it. And we've got a nice bunch of intermediate steps along the way. And if you don't have it yet, I would consider looking at the mobility side for gaining hamstring flexibility and hip mobility, because that is a big contributing factor to those that can or cannot do the leg raise. We also have other videos of what defines the perfect leg raise, the do's and don'ts, as well as common mistakes and how to fix them. So thanks for watching our hanging leg raise. Comment below if you have any questions on anything or what step that you're stuck on and how we can help you. But thanks for watching, and we've got many more tutorials coming up. Really quick, if you want to get started with calisthenics but are unsure of how to do so, I highly recommend trying our free calisthenics assessment. It will only take you 5 minutes to complete, and you'll receive a detailed, personalized training program complete with recommendations and workouts you can use right away. If you found these videos helpful, please click the like button below and leave any comments or questions you might have in the comment section below. See you next time.